The following segment is brought to you in partnership with Future 42. Turn your frustration into action at future42.org. As we all wait to see what's going to happen in Tuesday's election, I know there's a lot at stake for some of us personally, certainly for the country. I would encourage you also to look past Tuesday, to look past this election, and to really commit yourself to holding especially the candidates you voted for accountable for what they do next. This election cycle, perhaps more than any other in my career as a political journalist, there have been so many promises made by candidates. Democrats have taken a complete turn on public safety. We are in a period of record crime rates. In fact, I read today that Washington State just broke its yearly record for homicides, and it's only the beginning of November. So far, there have been 327 homicides in Washington State this year. The previous record was last year at 325. And so to break it on, November 7th is horrifying. And so you've had these Democratic candidates, not only for the state legislature, but for congressional seats, who have really come out and sort of acted as if they're going to take a harder stance on public safety, that they're going to back away from some of the dangerous policies and some of the dangerous rhetoric they engaged in that I really believe got us to this place. But I think the proof is going to be in what they do in the weeks and months after this election. In Washington State, there is a legislative session that will begin in January, and there are things to be fixed. There is a disastrous law that dramatically limited police pursuits in our state. We've talked about it a lot here on the podcast. And for Democrats who ran on a commitment to improve public safety, will they vote to fix that law? Will they make good on their promises to voters? I think that's going to be a huge test for Democrats. And I think Democrats in Olympia, it's possible they maintain both the House and the Senate. And especially if they retain control, are they going to forget about all these promises that were made to appease voters? Were those promises just to appease voters? Or are they going to buckle down and realize that we are in the midst of a true public safety crisis and they need to make good on their word? They need to fix that pursuit law. They need to fix the Blake decision, which basically made personal drug possession legal, which has led to a further degradation of public safety and law and order in our communities. So if Democrats can maintain control in one chamber of Congress or in the Washington State House or Senate, then they need to prove to voters that they meant what they said for the past few months, and we need to hold them to that. And the same is true for Republican candidates when it comes to the economy. Republicans have run on this idea that they can rein in out-of-control spending in Washington, D.C., that they can help bring down costs for American families. That is a huge responsibility. And it wasn't enough, and it's not enough for them to just say, Democrats have contributed to this. They have to come in with solutions, because that is going to be the most, especially for members of Congress, it is going to be the most pressing issue at hand, is to bring down costs for American families. I gave a speech, this was in the spring, to the mainstream Republicans of Washington. And at the time, that was before the fall of Roe, and so it looked like there was nothing stopping Republicans from having a complete blowout night on Tuesday. And I want to read from my prepared remarks because as I was speaking to them and saying, look, I understand that you really are looking at this midterm election and realizing that you could get some of your power back, but I want you to take that opportunity seriously. I want you to understand the seriousness of the moment. And here's what I said. I said, your challenge is to meet the moment. It's understandable to be excited to see this as your chance to take back power, but it is just as important to see it as the incredible responsibility that it is. While the position that Republicans are in this year is a promising one politically, it presents itself because Americans are struggling, I told them. Moms are standing in front of empty store shelves wondering how they're going to feed their infants. Small business owners are standing in front of the shops they spent their life savings to open, worrying how much longer they can make payroll. Police officers are standing face to face with violent criminals, asking how far away the closest backup is. Families are standing over the graves of their young sons, wanting to know what more could have been done to prevent the gang violence that stole their lives and their potential. Yes, while 2022 presents an opportunity for Republicans, that opportunity comes with profound responsibility, I told them. So you have to promise me something. If you finally get the power back that you've been working toward for so long, you have to promise me that you will remember what it's like not to have it. And what I mean by that is when you look back at the pandemic, at one-party rule and how that was handled, cutting out an entire party from the equation because you don't agree with them politically, but a party that could have brought good ideas to the table to help our country and our state and our communities during one of the most pressing crises we've ever faced. Yet Democrats made it political rather than welcoming as many people into the fold as they could. And I urged Republicans, if you win back control, don't do the same thing. When it comes to people's lives and the crime crisis, when it comes to people's livelihoods and the state of the economy, we can and we should welcome as many ideas into the fold as possible, because the only thing that should matter is making the lives of Americans better. And I hope that whatever candidates win, they are committed to doing just that moving forward. The preceding segment was brought to you in partnership with Future 42. Turn your frustration into action at future42.org.